Chapter 16. Quitting is easier said than done. Geordie roasts me way more than the beans we use for coffee over it. So you're telling me your solution to fighting with your girlfriend is to quit your job? He says in a lull between customers. What? Who said that? I ask while washing the same coffee grinder for the third time. You did. It's your MO. Geordie throws up his hands and crosses over to the sink to tick off my many offences off his fingers. First you fought with Izzy, so you told her you loved her. Then you fought with Izzy, so you moved in with her. Now you fought with Izzy, so you're quitting your job. Before you know it, you're going to be one of those people who has a baby instead of getting divorced. I make a face. Now that's some heterosexual nonsense. More like allosexual nonsense. Yeah, but Geordie is the chick who identifies as a guy who identifies as a chick, so I mean he can get Steph pregnant, right? Because I don't know how that hormone replacement shit works. Science is too complicated for me. I shoot Geordie a disdainful look. Who are you to talk, Mr. Oso, in a relationship? I love Ollie, but if we were fighting like you and Izzy, I'd be single again before you could blink. Geordie shrugs. It's gotta be exhausting, right? Like I'm tired just thinking about how being that anxiously attached. Okay, well no one asked you to think about it. A fun fact you might not know is that you can shut the hell up at any time. I grumble and turn to take my break. Geordie catches me by the arm and says, "Hey, I didn't mean it like that. I know I get a little fatigued by my relationship talk, but that doesn't mean I don't care. You're my friend and I'm worried about you. Well, stop worrying." Geordie surveys me with narrowed eyes. Look, I'm not trying to argue with you. You're gonna do what you're gonna do. But just think about whether you're doing it because you want to or because you're afraid if you don't, you'll be single again. I'm not afraid to be single. Fear or love, baby, don't say the answer. What is that, Justin Bieber? I make a face. Oh my god, no. Jonathan Larson, you uncultured swine. Please, I thought you had a background in theatre. I shrug. Musicals were never really my thing. For a second, Geordie looks like he might take this opportunity to educate me about musical theatre, but instead he lowers his voice and just says, "Be careful, Steph. I'm going to be fine," I say, and I almost believe it. Everything's going to be fine. I head to Dad's that evening to finally fulfill my promise to watch Blade Runner, a 6-pack of orange soda in hand as an offering. Renee's signature floral arrangement is in the hallway. So is the scent of freshly baked cookies. To my surprise, it isn't Renee in the kitchen, but Dad wielding a spatula and a bag of chocolate chips. "Hey, sweetie," he points over to the counter. "Wanna lick the bowl? You made these from scratch?" I eye the bowl carefully. Do I dare? Dad mimes drumming with the spatula and sounds out the beats. Ba-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da. Dumb. Cooking lessons, remember? I'm practically Gordon Ramsay. Yeah, and I'm Ringo Starr. I raise an eyebrow, but take a swipe of batter all the same. It tastes like a memory, too sweet and smooth. Dad glances at the timer. There are still a few minutes left, and says, "So what's new with my kid? How's the cafe?" "Not a kid," I say defensively, focusing as hard as I can on cleaning this bowl instead of making eye contact. I'm not in the mood to be lectured about stability and retirement and health issues. "Right, sorry," he holds up his hands. "You're the master of your own fate and all that." There's a tense silence as I finish off the last of the batter and Dad watches the egg timer slowly tick forward. "Finally," I say, I put in my notice. "You did you? Well, that's great, sweetie." "It is?" I don't even mean to ask it. The question just slips out. "Well, sure, you're moving on, growing up. A sick feeling settles in my stomach, and I just know he thinks it's because I got some job he perceives as being somehow more adult, more responsible. It's almost enough to make me lie, but as I open my mouth, I can't seem to summon the energy. The band's really taking off. Izzy crunched the numbers, and we think we can really make it with drugstore makeup. If we go all in, it's kind of a now or never thing, and well, I guess I'd rather try and fail than wonder what if. I feel the fight rising in me, the readiness to defend this choice. I'm not even all that sure of myself. We're not rushing into this, I promise. She has spreadsheets and everything. Dad nods slowly and taps his fingers on the counter. Izzy's a smart girl, he says slowly, real logical. Well, she's a Capricorn, so. Right, and I'm a Wookiee, he deadpans. It's an astrology thing. So I wasn't far off with the Star Wars reference? Sure, whatever. I roll my eyes, a smile sneaking on my lips. The point is, this is good. You're doing what you love with someone you love. Doesn't get much better than that. You have to do what makes you happy. Right. I can't decide if I'm more thrown by his acceptance of my choice or by his characterization of it as something that will make me happy. Happy doesn't feel like the word exactly. Anxious, excited, a little bit terrified. I wish I'd done more of that, More music? Sure, but other things too. Dad's gaze goes cloudy and distant, like he's not fully here with me anymore. I spent a lot of time unhappy for the sake of other people. Your mum did too. We never should have gotten married in the first place, and we shouldn't have stayed married as long as we did. We both put our lives on hold because people told us it would be better for you if we stayed together. I snorted loudly. That's a load of bullshit. I remember the fun and I remember the fights, but more than that, I remember the numb quiet of parents who just didn't love each other that much. It sucked having Dad live so far away in Seattle, while me and Mum still lived in Arcadia Bay, but it was way better than all living under one roof. Besides, if he stayed, he might be dead too. What do you wish you'd done instead? I ask, and it dawns on me how little I know my own dad. I know his hobbies, I know his favourite movies, but I don't really know him. There's this quality to dads, the way Hallmark and TV commercials mythologize them as types rather than people. They're grill masters, or lawn tamers, or thrill seekers, or nerd fighters. Well, my dad's just a guy trying to live his life his way, and the realization is both sad and hopeful at the same time. I don't think it'd be that different. I'd still like what I like and do what I do. He frowns, thoughtfully smoothing his mustache. But there's one thing I'd be, and that's a better dad. I open my mouth to argue, but he doesn't let me. I'm not saying I was a bad dad. I just think I would have been better at it if I spent more time living my life instead of trying to live the life your mum and I thought we were supposed to. He shrugs one shoulder. Guess I wish I figured that out before you were all grown up. I mean, I'm not that grown up. I flick a little bit of cookie dough at him and it sticks to his shirt. Oh, well now, you're definitely grounded. Dad, I whine, you're totally ruining my life. The timer goes off and Dad pulls a tray of chocolate chip cookies from the oven. Et voila! I peer over at the perfectly golden brown cookies and give an approving nod. Maybe you would have been a baker. He grins at that and pats me on the shoulder. That's what I'm talking about. It's good to chase your passions every now and then. You'll have more time to enjoy them that way. I nod as he plates up the cookies to take into the living room. My thoughts circle and spiral, a vortex of feelings. I came here prepared to shoulder the weight of my dad's disapproval, but instead I'm left with all this unspent energy and nowhere to put it.